useful as a recap. You might want to watch more lengthy videos if you are still struggling to understand how to round numbers. Okay, so let's take a number. So I have a number here, and it is 12,849. 12,849. And I may be asked to round this number to different place values. So let's see what we would do if we were asked to round to various different place values. And let's start with rounding to the nearest 10. So if we're asked to round to the nearest 10, we have to know which of these digits is the tens. And hopefully you will know that it's the 4. So we have units of 9, and then next to that is 4, which represents our tens. So we go to our tens column, and we are rounding from that point. And then what we have to do is look at the number next to it. And if it's 5 or more, we have to round that number up. If it's 4 or less, we leave it as it is. Okay. And let's just think about that logically. If we're looking at the end of this number, 12,849, the tens part is the 4. So it's ending 49. And it should make logical sense to us. If we're counting in tens, we'd have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 49 is between 40 and 50, but it's closer to 50. Once we get past 45, then those numbers are closer to 50 than 40. Okay, so 12,849 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 12,850. I have the same number of digits in my answer once I've rounded it as I do to the original number, and that's how it should be. All we're doing is we want roughly the same value, but we're just approximating it to the nearest 10. Okay, so that's rounding to the nearest 10. Now let's think about rounding to the nearest 100. So we need to be able to find our hundreds column, which you should recognise as the third one along from the right. So numbers start smallest from the right. We move along to the third digit, and that is an 8. 12,849. So the same thing applies. We go along to that column and we look at the number immediately after it, and it's a 4. So if the number is below 5, then we don't need to round up. So if we've got 12,849 to the nearest 100, that would be 12,800. And let's just again look at that logic. If we're counting in hundreds, 849 is between 800 and 900, but it's slightly closer to 800. Once we get to 850, we can round up. Okay, and of course our answer should have 5 digits, 12,800 with 2 zeros at the end. Let's look to the nearest 1,000. And if you like, you can pause this and try and come up with an answer and then start the video again to see if you're right. Okay, so going to the thousands column, that is going to be the number 2. So it's the 4th along from the right hand side is thousands. So we look here and there it says 2,000, and then after it we've got an 8. 2,849 So the number after the 2 is an 8, so we should round up to 3,000. But let's not forget, our full number is 12,849. We still need 5 digits in our answer. So the 1 is going to stay the same, but our 2 is going to change to a 3. So rounding to the nearest thousand, 12,849 would be 13,000. Okay? And you can think of it, if we're counting in thousands, it's between 2,000 and 3,000, but it's closer to the 3,000. Right, so if you think you have got the hang of that, on the next page is a number. I want you to pause the video, read the number out loud. There's something very positive about saying things out loud to help our understanding. And then pause the video and give yourselves time to work out what this would be to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000. Pause the video now. Okay, so the number we're looking at is 26,389. 26,389. And to the nearest 10, that would be 26,390. To the nearest 100, it would be 26,400. And to the nearest 1,000, it would be 26,000. Okay, if you think you've got this, just do this one large challenge. What would 26,389 be to the nearest 10,000? Pause the video, have a go. Okay, so if we want to go to the nearest 10,000, we've got to come all the way along to our first digit. 5th digit along is 10,000s. And we do exactly what we did before. We look at the digit after it, which is a 6. So therefore the 2 needs to round up. So we should find an answer of 30,000 to the nearest 10,000. And again, if you think about the number 26,389, in 10,000s, that falls between 20,000 and 30,000, but it is nearer to the 30,000. If you feel confident with this topic, start to look at rounding to decimal places. That will be your next step.